Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for watching another episode of Valley Strong, where we are interviewing business and community leaders and going behind the scenes into their business. We're talking about leadership in uncertain times, COVID-19 response, and a little bit of everything in between. So if you haven't seen one of our previous episodes, you can check that out on our Facebook page. And today we're super excited to have Chase Smith, who is the marketing director at Lingo Networks and MGW, and actually a neighbor of ours in our Stanton office. I can literally look out of my office window and see their office. So good to have good folks like that in the neighborhood. And Chase, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super stoked that you guys extended this offer. I've seen the previous videos, just saw the sweet Nana Cakes one. So we appreciate what you're doing just from our perspective, but just from a community member, I appreciate it even more so than from a business sense, but just supporting these businesses that make the Valley what it is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So for those people that might not know, tell people a little bit about what Lingo Networks is all about.
Yeah, so Lingo Networks is a local family-owned company that has roots in the Shenandoah Valley. So since 1967, actually. We are a technology support company and connectivity company. So high-speed internet, we have fiber, fixed wireless, so we have a variety of solutions for connectivity. We also do managed IT services for business, computer repair, and we also offer things like complimentary e-device recycling and things like that. But the bread and butter of who we are and where we originated was connecting people to other people.
Right. And I think you're speaking the language of all of us right now in terms of technology, which was super important in our lives before, but has kind of evolved and become important in different ways now that we are dealing with this COVID-19 situation. Before I get into that, though, you mentioned that you guys have been around doing work since 1967, and I happen to know you have a pretty fascinating, pioneering story behind how this family business started. So share that with everybody.
Yeah, so my grandfather, Ron Smith, started the company, and he lived in these rural areas of Virginia, specifically Williamsville. Back in 1967, there were no other telephone providers in the area at all. As a matter of fact, the larger providers, had no interest in these areas of Virginia because the population density is a lot lower. So, living in that community and seeing that need, he ultimately decided to go door to door with people to share the word of what he was, and trying to generate interest and see basically the community backing, realizing that this was an essential need for people, whether it was, not only staying connected with their friends and family on the phone, but also if there was an emergency, being able to contact someone for those sorts of things. So, and fast forward to now, it's even more important, connectivity. We compare it to building the digital railroad. Just as important as it was back when the railroad in the United States was being built to connect, one side of the country to the other and city to city, etc. We're doing that with internet and with modern digital phone services as well. And as you can see with a situation like this, connectivity is truly, it was arguably unessential years ago, and it is not arguably, it is clearly essential now. With people with COVID-19, the disruption that happened literally overnight for people, with people needing to be able to work from home, or for students to be able to complete schoolwork online, and in terms of staying connected, with social distancing being what we need to maintain in order to defend the people that are vulnerable, even if maybe you yourself aren't. So giving people those tools, it's just obvious how essential and powerful it is, with being able to stay in touch with friends and family, and also our jobs and the news, whatever it might be.
Right, right. And I love that, your grandfather was a champion of this cause, to bring this vital service to rural America, which was essentially being left behind.
Yes.
And it really took a grassroots effort to push connectivity in rural America forward. Eventually, of course, the federal government, got involved and whatnot, but it was people like your grandfather going door to door that really pushed that cause forward. So that's amazing. I love that story. I've known about it for a while. I think about it quite often, actually. So thank you for sharing that with us. You talked about how important connectivity is now, amidst the COVID-19 crisis. And I know that there have been, some concerns about the internet holding up and that sort of thing. So I just wondered if you could speak to what you're seeing, what Lingo is doing to ensure that connectivity stays strong.
Yeah, in terms of the reliability of the internet, it's obviously, I would say, a valid concern. Again, with people being able to complete schoolwork or work projects, staying in touch with people at work. Maybe it's a salesperson and they need to be able to video chat with people, with clients or potential leads, that kind of thing. So we can speak from our perspective. Our network, thankfully, it's built to, and even before this pandemic, was built to hold well over its capacity. In other words, it's not like each time we add a customer, at that point we're reevaluating our network to see, like, are we good now? So it's always been that way, which is good news. In light of what's happened too, so with the change, we over a week ago, decided, before there was any guidelines or instruction from the state of Virginia on how we should be conducting business, we decided, before there was any news or announcement, to go ahead and close our offices. And by that, what we were doing, it was a hard decision, but that was to protect our customers and to protect our staff. So we did that a week before, again, there were any guidelines issued by the state of Virginia. And so those staff that were in charge of, dealing with incoming customers and that sort of thing, all of a sudden, they're not doing that now. So they've been able, this is something that goes on consistently for our company, literally all the time. We're upgrading our network. We're constantly monitoring. We're adding new access points. We're burying fiber to existing towers or whatever it might be to give the best connectivity. Now, all of a sudden, we've had more available hands to help in that effort. So we've actually not only been able to continue the work that was already going on even before COVID-19, but we've actually been able to at least double our efforts because we have more of our staff available to help at more locations or sites. So again, from our perspective, we have software that monitors the activity 24/7 and alerts us if there's anything that is concerning or usage issues. And even with the more people working from home, more people connecting to the internet at once, we've seen nothing concerning. As a matter of fact, everything's been smooth sailing. So we feel really confident in that we're going to come out of this and our network even stronger than we were before. So in that sense, it's unfortunate how that happened, but we've been able to just make the most of this negative situation by, just continuing to go and instead of just being like, well, it's good enough, or, just been like, all right, what opportunities now exist because of this change?
Right. And I think you're really speaking to what a lot of business owners and leaders of nonprofits and all sorts of things are feeling, which is like, how can we pivot to still be of good use to the community and continue the mission, that we've started. So that is good to know that you're feeling confident with the internet connectivity and that sort of thing. Are you still able to onboard new customers at this time?
Yeah. So in terms of, staying connected for people is obviously more important than it ever was. So we've been continuing to do technician dispatches and service installations. they're under strict guidelines now, stricter guidelines now. So we've equipped our staff with, whether it's things from gloves, disposable gloves. So because if they have to access a customer's home, again, it's just minimizing contact points and minimizing if they're, perhaps, could be that they were around someone that, the person's home that we're in, maybe they were around somebody that was ill, but that person didn't even know it. So again, it's just about, you have to think logically and not be fear-based. And so we've just equipped our staff with, sanitizing sprays and that sort of thing. Also, when we speak to a customer, our customer support team, before an installation, we'll call the customer and just ask a couple questions. And again, it's out of defense for them and for our employees. So just asking, hey, we just had a couple questions. You've got your service installation coming up. We just wanted to know, has anybody in your home been traveling really out of the city at this point in the past, recently at all, past week, past 2 weeks? Have you been around anyone who may have been ill? Have you been ill or recovered from a sickness? And again, just sort of evaluating those things to put our customers and our staff in the best healthy situations possible.
Right.
So, and then in terms of our other staff too, we have salespeople. Everybody's that is working from home or could be working from home I am working from home and have been for over 2 weeks now. So our sales people are also working from home and, utilizing the technology that is available with go-to meetings and phone calls and emails and that sort of thing. Just got to adapt.
Right, exactly. So what is the footprint that Lingo Networks covers? And if somebody is interested in seeing if they can get service, what route should they follow?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways that you can get in touch with us, of course. So we're on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our YouTube channel as well. But of course, our website, lingonetworks.net. There's a variety of ways that you can check to see if service is available. So you can call our customer support team and they can check your address for availability, which it does vary by area. To say that we are completely umbrella, even the Shenandoah Valley, it's not true at this point, but because it depends on if maybe there's fiber in your area, or it could be that there isn't fiber in your area, but you're actually nearby one of our fixed wireless towers. So you can check availability by calling in. You can email support at lingonetworks.net. You can also, there's a form on our websites as well for MGW and Lingo. And MGW's site is mgwnet.com. So there's a variety of ways to see, but again, we do service the Shenandoah Valley, also parts of Southern Virginia and Galax as well. But before I forget, I didn't want to risk forgetting this, something that we're super excited about, and it's in the works. We've been in touch with different community organizations to ultimately see, as we continue to do operations as normal, there might be people who don't have access to internet. That simply actually isn't true, but there are people who don't have access to the internet. So what is somebody supposed to do? So we've been in touch with, like I said, different community organizations to see if we can utilize their parking for this concept of drive-in Wi-Fi. And so the concept there is protecting people with social distancing measures. So instead of, getting to this, maybe it's a Ruetan Center, and people getting out at the picnic tables, but being able to access the internet in your car, in the safety of your car. And so in this way too, that, because there might be people that the internet isn't available to, but there's also the reality that there, in some cases, people can't afford access to internet. And so we wanted to address both of those situations for people, because they might have kids that are now at home that need to complete schoolwork, but are unable to. So that's something that's in the works, and there'll be more to come on that. But I would encourage people, if you want to stay in the know on that, just make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook for announcements related to that. But it's something we're really excited about. and the organizations that we have talked to have been really excited about this opportunity to equip our community. It's to be able to do the things that they need to not get left behind, so that there's, whether it's their kids getting schoolwork so that they don't get left behind. It's just, I think it's a relieving stress point for people. So more to come on that.
That is amazing. Yeah. And I think that's one of the, if there's a silver lining in this situation, seeing how businesses are thinking up these really creative ways to help and using like their particular skill set to figure out a way to help and linking up with other organizations and businesses to do it. What is that saying? It's like, necessity is the mother of invention. And I feel like we're seeing that all over the place. So I love that. Drive-through Wi-Fi. Help folks out. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited. And again, obviously once that, it will likely, again, as we work in getting in contact with people, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's not like we'll all of a sudden have 10 sites that go up the same day, but it is something that we've been in discussion since we started working remotely, and then thinking of, well, what about the people that can't do that? And so, it obviously, once these sites become available, again, we'll let you know, but of course the access would be free too. So just stay posted.
Right. So I know that you mentioned that you guys are a family-owned business, which can be its own like interesting, fun dynamic. So when you say family-owned business, like what do you have to say about that? How does that add like a unique aspect to what you guys do?
Yeah. So I would say it's truly, it sounds cliche, but the family side of our business is our entire team. Obviously, not everybody in the team is all blood related, in terms of, relate with my grandfather being the original person that started it. But, staying in touch with our family that now we're disconnected with, our coworkers. We spend arguably I might spend more time with my coworkers than I do my own wife, just because that's how the way the work world works. So, but yeah, from a family perspective, my father, Craig Smith, works at the company. My brother, Ryan, my mother, and my grandfather is still involved with the company. So from the actual bloodline related, if you will, it's been something that has connected our family throughout our entire life. Because my father, once he graduated from college, started working at the company. And at that time, that's when the internet was becoming more accessible and more of an actual concept available to people. So we're, it's a huge blessing to be able to work together, and ultimately to be able to serve our community.
Right, exactly. And I think you also hit on a good point. Our coworkers do become a work family. And I think that's something that I too have really felt is like, oh my gosh, I'm not seeing these people every single day. And that just feels weird in so many ways.
It does. So, and then, thankfully, within our organization, staying in touch, we've always had a weekly conference call on Monday mornings. So that has continued, of course, but then also we've just been utilizing, we have internal communication channels for things to be able to stay in touch. But a phone call and a video chat, it really goes a lot of way, and so just being able to stay in touch with people, because there's some people in our company that, live alone, and there's some people that have families, and there's all these contrasts of, there's some people that might feel lonely, and there's other people that probably feel overwhelmed by their kids or whatever it might be. But it's a beautiful thing, just being able to stay in touch, and it really, really puts into perspective how much you take for granted unintentionally. And so just this, like the thought of a hug, anymore almost like makes my eyes water, because it's something that it was just, so easy to give before. And now you have to think twice about it. But I can't wait, because I know that we will get through this, and we'll be able to get back to those things, which will only heighten our appreciation. I pray for being able physical touch with people, and being able to give somebody a high five, and all these things, sitting in the joy of being able to wait in line to be seated at a table and be told that there's a wait because the restaurant's full again. I can't wait to wait.
Yes, exactly. I love that. Yeah, I can't wait to wait for sure. I know I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday, and it was like, I mean, when we can actually hug people again, like, I feel like I just want to stand on the street corner and give
Oh,
everybody
I know. I
back.
know. It's so beautiful. It's so
Yeah,
beautiful. So.
exactly. So, um, you mentioned your wife, and I just wanted to say that she is in the medical field along with some other family members that you have. So our hearts are definitely, with those folks as well. So please thank them on our behalf for everything that they're doing. It's such an important such an important part of the fight against this, and we just appreciate everything they're doing to protect others so selflessly. Um, so just kind of on a lighter note, we kind of talked about, like you said, you can't wait to wait and all that other stuff. Is there anything else that you're really, really looking forward to, like once things go back to normal and
Yeah.
about again?
The first thing I'm going to do is praise Jesus. And then, just we haven't been able to see our family for a couple weeks now. And so we just recently actually purchased a townhouse, which we're really excited about. And, we haven't been able to, celebrate, or even just being able to go to church or hang out with friends, and just those basic things, just like I said, being able to go to a restaurant or whatever it might be. All these things that maybe it was part of the daily, you had all these opportunities like, oh, do I want to hang out with friends today? Or should we just hang low and FaceTime our parents tonight, whatever. So I think just like getting back to those roots of like what it is to be a human, like the need for relationship and the beauty of that, and being able, and what I've seen in the community has been extraordinary. And so people's adaptation in these times. So I think just it's even heightened my support. I've always been a huge, passionate supporter of like local and small business, and all these businesses, especially in the restaurant industry world right now in particular, is the one that goes to my top of my mind. And so the importance of supporting those businesses. It's my wife and I were talking about like the places that we were going to go like immediately once it was available, so that we could just support them, because it's been a rigorous time. So, and with that too, you guys highlighting businesses, we want to thank you for doing that, for our community, not just for Lingo Networks or MGW. But on our social media pages, we've been trying to at least once a week highlight businesses that have these new offerings. And so we'll just share their posts. Perhaps they're doing, delivery of wine and beer, or they're doing delivery of baked goods and pastries and croissants, whatever it might be. There's a lot of things, and there's a lot of ways that we can support our community and still practice social distancing and protect the vulnerable, but also protect the businesses that these people's livelihoods depend on.
Right, exactly. And I think, that's an important point. I think in a time like this, you can have moments where you're feeling kind of powerless, like I want to help, but I don't know what to do. And just like you mentioned, simply going on your social media and cross sharing posts of what people are doing and the different offerings and ways that they're pivoting and that sort of thing, like that's tremendously helpful. So if you're sitting at home right now feeling a little bit powerless, go online and share what businesses are doing to keep themselves going. It's really, really important. Yeah. So is there anything else that you would like our Valley Strong audience to know? Any parting words?
I would just say I saw a picture. One of my coworkers who's working in the office, his district of the office by himself. he has a view of y'all's the building, and he saw the banner that y'all put, "Stay Strong," and he just sent it to me. So it was cool to be able to see it before I had seen it anywhere else being shared on social media. And so to kind of like reshare those words that you guys penned, like, just, it's the simple truth of stay strong. And I think, like, stay connected in these times. There's a lot of resources available in our community. It's you can either feel incredibly lonely or take advantage of this time and realize that there's an opportunity in it that never existed before. In a lot of ways, that we have more time on our hands, if you will, than we've ever had before. We're being forced to adapt. And so just know that you're not alone, and that there is a community around you that may not be able to hug you at this moment, but the moment that we can, we will. And there's just, if you need to talk to somebody, there are people out there. So don't give up, and don't let the media drive your attention too far down into the negativity. There is beauty that can come out of this pandemic, and I believe that it will make us stronger than we've ever been before.
Right. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for joining us today, Chase, and sharing your wisdom on so many different levels. So we really appreciate it. And for all of the viewers that are watching, if you know a local business leader or community leader that you think that we should interview, we want to know about it. So please email us at valleystrong@weareconverge.io, and we'll be glad to schedule them for an interview. Thank you so much for watching, and keep a lookout for our next upcoming episode.